So I just got an awful long conversation and have on recording the conversations that you've been having with my client who is under contract from the day he first started working with me and with the company. That you've been talking about my personal life, things you've heard from my family, things that you've heard from other people, and so forth. I gave you as a client to put money in your pocket to support you, and also I did what you have spoken disparagingly about me in defamation, as well as broken the non-disclosure agreement. And me and Princess Marta are not okay with it. You've spoken private things about my life that has brought to my attention, that has caused problems with him and I that we are now figuring out. He said that he encouraged you to talk to me and share with me your thoughts and feelings. Because if you're a healer and you're a person of the light, Eric, you would have come to me and said, "Hey, I want to share things with you," but you didn't. You talked about things that was said to you from the witch, as you shared with him, which also was under mushrooms, if you recall, and the other things that took place. My mother told you that if you didn't have transparency, that things would have fallen apart. But you talked privately to a client of mine that is under contract with me, and you broke your non-disclosure agreement. And so, Princess Mar, unless you have a conversation with me about it or with one of us, we are going to proceed with your breaking of the non-disclosure agreement and breach of my client. And from day one, from the moment I've met you, I've been nothing but kind to you, loving to you, supportive to you when you were going through everything you were going through, even when you were calling me from Hawaii. You went through all of these different things in your life, and I've been there for you 100% every step of the way, including everything that happened to you that you went through with MTV and everything. I've shown you my family and I have shown you nothing but love and kindness. And on top of that, we have opened our home to you. You've judged us and you've put us down many times, which you still haven't talked to my niece and all the other people in my family who felt upset about it. You didn't respect Princess Marta. You had your own agendas, which is fine. And the moment you didn't get what you wanted, you tried to you cut me out of your life without talking to me after all these years of friendship. And then you go and take mushrooms and go to Arizona and talk bad about me, even when said he told you repetitively, let's go talk to Durek, let's go figure this thing out. You got in his head and tried to convince him of things that he's now agreed to on audio and said that you've said in confidentiality. You broke our agreement. And on top of that, you told him things that he said he should have never known from you because I was his client, and you are there. You're in his life because I brought you into his life. You would have never known if it wasn't for me being kind and generous to open the door to who's one of my childhood friends, and this is how you repay me. You don't you don't speak from a place of love. You don't think of all the beautiful things that I've done for you and supported you and been there for you. All you do is try to demonize and look for something wrong in someone. And I'm wondering if it's because I'm black. I'm wondering if it's because you didn't get something you wanted, or because you were whatever it is, you couldn't even talk to me about it. And then you break confidentiality and you go to my client and talk about my personal life with them, which is against the law, by the way. And Princess Marta and I are not happy about it. And unless you talk to us about it, we will take action in court, because you have literally made things to my clients that is between me and my client. And my client, who has basically said from day one, from your first trip, you have completely started talking all my personal stuff to him, things that he said he should have never known about. And it was between you and I, not him, me, you, and I. So you decide what you want to do. And we'll wait to hear from you when you want to talk about it and be a civilized person, instead of being a sneaky person and going behind my back and talking bad about me, when all I do is talk good about you, and all my niece and everyone in my family talks good about you and everything we've done for you. And this is how you repay us. And you paint pictures that a witch inside of me is manipulating me. Really, Eric? Really? It's just ridiculous. And you can believe what you want to believe because you don't believe me and trust me anyway. You don't trust anyone, and that's fine. But the point of the matter is that you breached the contract, two contracts, one with my client who was breached, that he signed when he first came into working with me, and also one with me. When another colleague sends a client to you, you are also there to uphold the client transfer agreement that is also stated in the way that you do business. And when you share another person's information with someone, when you have a non disclosure that literally states that you cannot do that without talking to me because I have the same respect for you, and you go and break that because you feel like you're on mushrooms or you're in some kind of new world when you guys are doing your plant medicine stuff, that it's okay for you to do those things to people, that's not of the light, Eric. That's not coming from love. And if you think this righteous side of you is actually the light, it's not. It's the darkness in disguise. Everything me and Marta were trying to build with you, you destroyed the moment you started changing and acting the way that you were acting. And you, like my mom said, it was about the Trinity, and you burnt the bridge to that the moment you stopped being transparent. Even the time when you came over to my house and you thought I was going to go downstairs and talk to you or do something sexual with you, when in fact I went downstairs to talk to you about the TV show and talk to you about things going on and things that we need to look at and work through as friends and so forth. And you couldn't even give me that respect because that's how negative you see me as. And you know what? I'm not that person, and you won't ever paint me to be that person. You can judge people the rest of your life, Eric, I swear to God. And you can talk bad about people, but don't claim to be spiritual if that's what you choose to do, because it's not coming from love and it's not coming from the light.
I would be more than happy to have a conversation with you, with Marta, and whoever else that you would like to have a conversation with, because your client actually came to me, not just one, but two clients came to me about you being inappropriate with them in your sessions, sexually inappropriate. And so if you would like to get your lawyers or your team or Marta or whoever you want to get involved to discuss those things that your clients came to me and shared those things with me, which I brought to your attention, but you responded with me saying that this is who I am and this is what I do, and that's the work that I do. So if that's the work that you do, if you choose to do that in your sessions with your clients, to be sexual with them, I'm happy to discuss that with anybody that you want, because your clients came to me concerned about that. So non-disclosure or no non-disclosure, Derek, that's the truth. And I would be happy to discuss that with your lawyers, in court, with your family, or whoever you want, and you can bring to the table, and maybe any other client that's happened with. So that's the truth. That's the reality of it. So do you want to have a discussion about that? I'm here to talk about it anytime you want.
There's an old saying in Africa that goes, if you're going to talk about people, you should talk about the beautiful things in people. And if there's something you don't like, you should confront your brother and talk about it, and talk about it as in a ceremonial way, right? And not try to paint a person to be demonized or villainized. And that's what you did. You villainized and demonized me for being honest with you about the things that you were doing to my family and the things that happened and how they were feeling and all of these things. And never once did you ever call and talk to her about how she felt. Never once did you go and talk to her, regardless if you had issues with Demetria, which I can understand why, and regardless if you had issues with me because you think I'm a hypocrite. Eric, there's no person on this planet who is not without fault. and who is not on this planet to grow and learn, or should I say, remember how to fully understand why we take on frequencies so that we can transmute them into the light. No one is perfect, not you, not me, not anyone, but to go and try to paint pictures to make it fit into what you want it to be so you can be righteous about it is not coming from the light at all. And I would think better of you after all these years of friendship that we've had. And every time you had problems with calling me from Hawaii, crying on the phone, people making you feel like you're a monster and all of these things. And then you go and you do these things.
Durek, save it, brother. Save all of your stories, save all of your excuses, save all of your, you've done so much for me and your family's done so much for me. Please, it's childish. Let's talk about the real issue. If you want to talk about the real issues of what happened in your sessions with your clients and them coming to me concerned and crying to me because they felt violated and abused, then let's talk about that, because that's the real issue. All the other stuff means absolutely nothing. So if you and Marta want to have an open conversation about how you behave with your clients in your sessions, and them coming to me and crying to me and asking them for help, then I'm happy to have that discussion with you.
You're talking about, because I spoke to you yesterday, and I don't know, you weren't there. So what should actually happen, and said, like, because you don't know me in history, and he also talked to me. He lives in Peru. We talk all the time, and he also said to me that what happened between him and I, he understands because he was a part of it, and he also brought it on when he pulled out his dick in the sessions. And yes, probably it wasn't the best time, but it was at the end of the session when he was getting his clothes on, and then we had this whole thing go on for a while. And he tells me he loves me and that he's sorry for ever judging me about it. So if you're talking about that client, and said that he didn't come to you at first, he said he spoke to you about something, but you've been telling him about my personal life, and that is not okay.
Confront you, Durek. I did confront you, and I said you're looking at a potential Me Too movement. So what are you talking about? I came to you and I sat with you and I opened up to you and I told you what was happening and how people were feeling. And you defensively said, no, that's who I am. That's what I do. So then be open. Be that. Be that. And don't hide it. And don't try to defend it. I can't wait to talk to Marta about this and how she feels about it and how her children would feel about it. So let's talk about it.
I didn't say to you that's who I am and that's what I do. I didn't say that. I said that there are situations that happen, and that there's some situations that are not okay. And I said, and there's some situations that happen and it happens. And I said that I'm a person who pushes people's buttons, but that's not what I am and what I do. I don't go to every single session and have sexual intercourse with people, Eric. That's ridiculous. That's your judgments. And yeah, we can get my lawyers involved because and we have a whole audio saying the things you were talking about, my personal life, things that you got from my personal life. You could talk about things with him as a therapist and say, hey, I hear this and this and that and the other and so forth and whatnot. But you started divulging my personal life to him. That is against the law, my love.
Why did you talk to? Are you concerned that something might happen? Why are you contacting everybody, to make sure that everybody's in alignment and they're all in agreement with you and that they're not going to say anything or go public with whatever it is you did? I'm not talking to anybody, Durek. I was helping get through his issues about what came up with you, helping him to understand what was going on, to help him with his anxiety and his depression and his insecurity. That's why we were having those conversations, because I was trying to help him. I don't talk to anybody else about what you do or what you choose to do. Nobody. So you don't have to worry about that. I'm not going out and telling anybody about anything that you do. Okay? If you want to bring me to court and talk to me about what I talk to, then go ahead. I'm happy to go to court and to discuss it. But I don't think that you want that, Durek. You don't want that to go public because you're afraid to tell the truth about what you do in your sessions with people. You don't want the mob to know about that. Isn't that right?
That's fine. I'll just have my lawyers contact you. No problem.
Please, Durek, your whole family knows it. Your nieces know it. Your sister said it to me. Everybody knows that you have issues around sexuality and about your sex issues, Durek. You're the only one that denies it, and people bring it to your awareness.
No, he actually reached out to me on Facebook saying how much he missed me and how my predictions came true for him, and that everything's working out for him the way I said it would have worked out for him. And the predictions of all the things that are happening for him, it came true. And he wanted to let me know how much he loved me. I didn't reach out to him. So no. Wow, you really think evil of me, Eric. It's really a shame. You think I contacted to try to cover up things. You think I'm one of these dark people who are like a pedophile going around sleeping with everybody. You just want to paint any kind of dark picture you can on anyone, and so that you can make yourself feel righteous. That's fine. You go right ahead. Martha knows about every single thing, and Martha understands every single thing. And I has also communicated every single thing. And he said that he spoke to you and shared with you something that me and him worked out. And he said, and every time he's with you, you talk about me in a negative way. And then you start bringing up the thing about the witch and all these things and about things you heard from my family and all this. And he said, and it was unnecessary. Oh, no, no, no. I'm okay with going to court if you want to go to court, Eric. I'm very okay with your breach of contract. Very okay with it. And we have the money to make sure we can do that. I do. Eric, I don't see every single client and go and be sexual with them. And I have no problem to say that I've crossed the line and made mistakes. I'm a human being and knows that. And that's what me and him talk about. And he gets it and he understands. And there were things also that happen inside of those situations and outside of those situations. And he understands it as well. And we talked about it as well. I don't mind. You want to let the mob bring in? I'm okay. I'm okay with letting the mob know about my mistakes that I make in life. I'm a human being. I'm not in denial of my sex issues, Eric. I may have made flaws and made mistakes in the past. Yeah. And me and I talked about it. And I don't do those things anymore. And you know what? And I'm glad that those things happen with. And because I told him, it's helped me to look at some things in myself of where I don't have boundaries in certain areas where this world wants boundaries. And I get it. But that's not what I do with every single client. I spend most of my time empowering the world and speaking to the world and talking about major issues and world issues like I'm doing in Norway right now for the homeless people and for a lot of people. So no, that's not what I do that's not the makeup of who I am. That's how you want to paint me because you want to find things, because you want to be like the person who's like, you're a hypocrite, you're not who you say you are, and all this kind of stuff. And that's what you like to focus on. That's okay. You can focus on those things, my love. That is okay. I'm so sorry that you think so poorly of me. You're entitled to think how you want to think, Eric. I know who I am, and I know that I'm a good person. And I know that we're all good people and that we all come from the light, but we all have things to move through. And I'm aware of that. But I'm not going to sit here and have you villainize me and demonize me and try to make me feel like I'm this person that it's okay for you to go and talk about my personal life to. When he's sitting here saying like, no, that's not okay. Like you can talk to him about his stuff and it's fine, but it's not okay to talk about my personal life.
Well, I'm really happy to hear that. If you're a human being and you make mistakes, then you obviously have no problem with being transparent and vulnerable with your experiences in your life, as I am. So, however you want to discuss this, Durek, if you want to discuss this with lawyers, so be it. If you want to discuss this with your entire family in a roundtable discussion, I'm happy to do that too. I am bringing to your attention what your immediate family has brought to my attention, what their actual concerns are, and your clients who also came to me. I'm talking to one of your clients who's also one of my clients about the experience that he had with me and the experience that he had with you to assist him in his own healing. I'm happy to discuss that with whoever you want to. You know me, Durek. I don't care about lawyers. I don't care about contracts. I don't care about money. I don't care about the system. I'm happy to go through that. You know that. But if you want to talk about vulnerability and transparency and you want to get open here and really seriously honest about your issues, my issues, your family, or whoever it is, I have absolutely no problem. I actually invite it. I'm actually very interested in having that conversation. And the witch and the spirits and all that, Durek, it's a part of you. It's aspects of you. They play a role in your business and how you interact with people. And so you want to blame the mushrooms on that, on what the witch said to me? The witch talked to me a number of times, and your friends, without mushrooms. So you tell me what you want to do. I'm happy to go any direction that you want to go in.
And that's okay. That's okay. That's fine. That's fine. And yeah, and don't talk about my children either. My daughters are fine. And my daughters, there's a lot of things that go on, just like when you wanted to be in a threesome with me and Marta. And we were completely open to your whole thing until you couldn't be transparent with us. And just like my mom said, the moment someone falls out of transparency, it's the moment it falls apart. And you chose to make those decisions, but don't talk about my children, because you had no problem when you wanted me to bring it in the public about what was going on with Marta, you and I, and how you weren't even considering thinking about how it was going to affect my children.
Wait a minute. So now you're admitting that you do that, and now you don't do that anymore. So now you're going to pull that card on me that you have everything recorded, right, of what happened with, but now you're admitting to me that you have done that. So the question is, how many times have you done that? And with how many people? And that's what I brought up to you on the couch when I was in that conversation with your sister. I was concerned because we were considering working together. And I said to you, well, how many people have you done that with? I mean, is it possible that there's going to be like a Me Too movement or something at some point? And you got so defensive and then turned everything around on me. That's what happened, Durek. I actually transparently came to you sharing my feelings and what I thought, and you got totally defensive and told me that I was the bad person, I was wrong, and these were all my issues. That's exactly what happened. That's also not true. We actually did have conversations about how the children would feel. We did open up that conversation with Marta. I do care. I brought it up, and I brought it up again. So, what you're saying right now, Durek, it's just not accurate. It's not true. A number of the things that you're saying. The reason I brought these things up, Durek, is because they were brought to my attention. The reason why this all came up is because your nieces were crying to me in the kitchen because they were getting ready to leave you because they don't trust you, and that they don't do sessions with you because they don't trust you because of these things that I'm bringing up. They brought that information to me. Where do you think that I got this information from? So if you want to have an open and honest conversation, you know what? I think what would be a great idea? Why don't we do a spiritual interrogation? And why don't we call in the light beings that you've been afraid to channel because the lower density spirits, like the witches, have been coming through because you've been afraid to channel. Well, why is that? What is that fear? So let's do a spiritual interrogation. You can channel a being of light to tell the truth about what's going on with you. Marta can listen, she can record it, and let's find out the truth about what's really going on.
Saying that I haven't done it, Eric. I did cross the line one time with, I did. And it was a mistake. And I'm aware of that mistake. And I did cross the line when he pulled out his cock. I should have never sucked his cock. I should have just left it and been like, put the sheet back over it. But we were finished with the session and I asked him, I said, do you want to go here? And he goes, yes. And so I was like, okay, are you sure? And he goes, yes. I'm like, okay. And and when the situation happened with that was a yeah, I did cross the line and I told him I crossed the line and I apologized to him and he understood and he spoke with me and we worked it out and that's what it was. And I did too. And no, I didn't reach out. I can show you the Facebook where it reached out to me to let me know that everything I told him about when we were talking over things in New York, when he was apologizing for going to you and talking about everything and stuff because he was still insecure with things that he was dealing with and how he wants to be back in my life. And he asked me to help him find a roommate for him. And I couldn't at the time. And he said he wanted to meet up. And I said I couldn't because I wasn't in town. I was living in London. And he asked me what my predictions were. And I told him I see him going to Peru and I see him becoming a shaman and I see him traveling and meeting all these beautiful people. And I see a beautiful woman in his life and all these different things. And that's exactly what has happened to him. And so he reached out to me. And for some reason, I checked my Facebook randomly, I think a couple of days ago, and I saw it. And so I said, oh, hi. And then he wrote me back immediately. And we've been talking on Facebook. I mean, on Facebook, I mean, on WhatsApp and talking about everything. And so, no, I'm not in denial of what happened and I was never in denial with what happened with whatever. But I don't appreciate someone that I've been friends with for so long trying to demonize me. And the stuff that went on with my family, I don't know if you know, the situations that went on with my family was one, if you really want to know each and every situation, one was this guy in New York City who came and had a session with me. And at the end of the session, he left and came back and asked me to have dinner with him. And I said, I don't do that. I shouldn't do that. It's not okay. And then he goes, come on. I know that you have this whole thing like that, but I would love to have dinner with you. And we went out and had dinner and he came back and we laughed and we watched movies, fell asleep, woke up in the morning and we ended up fooling around. And then he got back together with his girlfriend and then said that, he told his girlfriend what happened between us, and his girlfriend tried to say, well, he's a shaman. He probably lured you with powers and all this kind of stuff. And so that was a situation. And the other situation was we were at a sunset camp out, and it wasn't a client. It was Alex's friend, and he was in bed, and we were on ecstasy, or he was on ecstasy, and I was stoned. And he was laying in bed with me and he was like humping me a little bit. So I started rubbing his back and then he turned over and I started playing with his cock outside of his pants. And then I tried to put my hand in his pants and then he stopped me and says, I'm not ready for that. And then he told Alex that I touched his cock. And then Alex confronted me. And then I told her what happened. And then that night when she was sleeping in the bed with her, he tried to rape her. And so we made a joke about it, saying, well, maybe he felt like because I touched him, he could touch you. And those were the two times that happened with two people. Oh, and one more, just so you know. There was a woman who came in who asked me to help her with the situation that happened with her boyfriend who was violently having sex with her. And I stood across the room and helped her clean her vagina. And then she left and freaked out and felt like a man shouldn't have been in the room with her talking about vagina. And that happened. So that's what happened. And sometimes other men feel like they're getting stuff because men will get a hard on. And like one actor, famous actor came in and he got a hard on and I came back in the room and he was beating off and I asked him to stop and he kept going and he came all over my sofa and I got really upset. And that's when me and my team decided to put a clause that people can't do sexual things to me. Oh, and there's another one. This famous actress came in and basically while I was doing a session with her, tried to have sex with me and pulled her. She didn't have any panties on And then another actress tried to do that to me. And then another guy I had a session with, and I was working on his stomach, and he got a hard on. And then he told his wife, and his wife made a big deal about it to my team. And that's the reason why my family and and they were all freaked out, because those things were happening. And that's why we put a clause. And I made a mistake, and he knows I made a mistake with him, and we talk about it. Okay. But you're trying to make it this big, big thing, instead of sitting and talking about it with me and saying, hey, let's look into it, let's figure it out. Because you are coming at it from a not from a judgmental way. How many people did you have that with? Is this going to be a Me Too movement, Derek? No, this is how you would speak to someone from a place of love. Hey, Derek, I'm concerned and I love you. So I want to know how many times, tell me the truth. Every single situation that happened, I want to know about it, because I want you to be transparent with me about everything. And then I would have told you, but you were coming at a judgmental way. And every time you had something to say to me, it was always about you trying to, the way you were approaching the conversations with my niece, with me, and saying things, even to my sister Demetria, you were doing it in a very aggressive, judgmental way. And the thing is, you could have just simply said, hey, sweetheart, we've been friends for a very long time. I'm here to support you. I want the best for you. I want to look out for you. How many times has these things happened? How many ones do you remember? Can you count them? Do you know what they are? Do you know when they happen? So that we can talk about these things and clear them up, so that we can get clear with them. And that way, I know how to support you, or I'm there for you, or we can work on this issue. Maybe there's something that you're holding on to from something of your past. Maybe there's something there we can look at, but that's not what you do. You come at it with aggression. You come at it with judgment. You come at it with almost like you're already judging me and sizing me up to be something bad. And that hurts. And that's not loving. And that's not fair. Because every time there's anything with you, anytime there's something, when you would say to me, oh, I think I'm a bad person, or oh, I think this, or oh, I think that, I was like, Eric, no, you're not. You're a loving person. This is who you are. This saying this to you. Let's look at it this way. Let's come from a place of love. Let's look at these situations. You're going through a lot of stress. You just had a baby. You're these different things. Not so, Eric, what were you actually doing? What was the situation? Huh? Why is she saying these things to you? No, I don't come at it in the accusatory way. That is not coming from a place of love. I came to you, you came to me with accusatory, judgmental energy, Eric. So when I say these are your issues, meaning that you're in judgment, there's obviously some issue you're holding on to, that you can't come to me from a place of love and true concern and being gentle the way I was with you when you came to me, when I was calling you a monster all the time and trying to tell you that you had some kind of ogre or some weird beast or something inside of you. And I would talk you off a ledge when you were in Hawaii, and speak to you when you would go out of town and call me on the phone. And I would say, Eric, you know what, honey, like, let's look at these things. Let's list. It could be coming from this. It can be coming from that. What do you feel? What's going on? No, when you come at me, it's accusatory. It's coming with judgment already in it. It doesn't feel safe to like just say, hey, you know what? Let me just shoot the shit with my brother and tell him everything that I've done, and just lay it on the table for him to see. And then let's look at it and figure it out and come from a place of love. No, it's like you come in that way, and that is not a way that makes people feel open. Just like when you came at Troy, when I came at Troy, I was like, Troy, honey, you know what? Like the way you spoke to the Native Americans and so forth, you know, wasn't probably the best thing to do. What was going through you at the time? What was happening? What were you feeling? I want to get a better understanding of it, because it's not that the way that you spoke in the video wasn't coming from a place of love, and you're better than that. And so let's figure that out. And he came back to me with, you know what, Durek, thank you for being kind and loving through this process. And thank you for helping me see how I can be a better person and all of these things. That's how he was dealing with it, Eric.
Okay, that's great that you're admitting that. And so now this goes back to the original conversation. How many people has that happened with, Derek? Because now I'm talking to you as your brother, somebody who actually does care about you. That's why I brought it to your attention. You might want to think about how many times you have done that and how much information is out there, because I'm actually trying to protect you right now. And that's why I brought it to your attention, because I care about you and your family and your business and your brand and your future and all the information that was shared with us about what we came here to do on this planet. Well, guess what? If one person, Durek, comes forward and says something, and just so you know, it's not me. Because whether or not I betrayed you in Egypt, if that stuff is true or not, whatever Marta said, I'm not doing that. So you can rest assured that I'm not that person. But you better pray to God. I don't know how many people you've done it with, how many times that's happened, my brother, but you better pray to God that people do not come forward and say something, because it will be over. And that's what I tried to bring to you on the couch that day, talking to Demi, and you got defensive and you turned it all around on me. And I sat there and I cried my eyes out to you. Don't talk to me about you serving me, because I served you and your family, and I came in there as a ray of light to assist your family and help your nieces and everybody else in healing. Okay? So don't play that game with me, Durek. Let's do the spiritual interrogation. You want to evolve? You want to grow? You want to assist and serve humanity and serve people? Then let's do it. Spiritual interrogation, call in the beings of light, and let's find out the truth.
Well, if we did open that conversation, then I must have forgotten. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. The witches are not lower density, Eric. The witches are operating on a certain field of information and integration to help me claim certain aspects of my feminine nature and my powers. And again, every time there's a transition of energy, there's certain things that need to take place. And if you know anything about spiritual transformation and transmutation, when energies are coalescing, it could be certain things from past lives that are being integrated into modern time. And ever since I've been here with Marta, she's been helping me integrate and move these energies into the place where they need to be for the greater service. Eric, of course, people are going to come forward with anything they want to come forward with. People have come forward with Gwyneth saying that she's done things. There's people who've come forward with Gerard Butler saying that he's done things. When you're a celebrity and you're in the limelight, people come forward and make up all types of things. It could be me just, like, I can give you a perfect example, okay? I was at a party in Oakland, and there was this girl. We were all cuddled on the bed with a bunch of girls and guys, and we were all like just cuddling, okay? And the guy was laying beneath me, and I had my hand on his leg, and the girl was there, and the girl told her girlfriend that I was touching the guy inappropriately. And the guy, a friend of mine who lives in San Francisco to this day, said, no, that's not what happened, but that's what she says happened. And that's the story she's told. There's, I mean, all kinds of people. I've told you exactly what happened in my business. It was that girl with the vagina situation. It was the guy in New York City who I told you about. And it was, there was this guy in New York, maybe, was it like maybe a long time ago, who was dealing with some sexual issues and asked me to put my finger on underneath his scrotum because he's feeling pain there. And he told his girlfriend, and his girlfriend said that's inappropriate. And so he was like, is that inappropriate? I don't know, but I asked her to do it, and it was that, and that was it. And there was no one else. I haven't been with anyone else. There's the guy who came over to my house, who was a Hollywood actor, who pulled out his thing, and I didn't do anything to him. And there was this guy named who was not in a session with me, who was basically coming over. He was a chef of mine, and he kissed me, and we fooled around. And then his Swedish girlfriend basically said that, because he told his girlfriend that he's fluid, and she blamed me for him being fluid. And then I told him he needed to confess the truth, that he hit on me. And he finally confessed, and then he still wants to be friends with me, and I haven't talked to him. And that's it, Eric. And that's all it has ever been. And I'm not going to lie about it. I don't have anything to hide about it. There's mistakes that I've made. Yes. And the reason why I make those mistakes sometimes is because, which I don't anymore, because I have a whole thing, and was the last person, and I talked to him about it. And the reason why I make those mistakes is because sometimes guys will get like do things, and I have this part of me that just doesn't restrain myself because I live in a world where I'm just all about love and connection and energy and so forth. And Marta does know about this side of me, and she's been helping me process through these sides and look at where they come from and what they're about. And she's actually here right now listening to our conversation. And yeah, and you could, and if you would have come to me with a less accusatory tone and a more tone of, I really care about you, I love you so much, I want to be in your life, I want to support you, I want to protect you, I want to create beautiful things in life with you, and so forth, then we could have had an open conversation about it. But every time you came to me, and every time you came to me to talk to me about me, you came in a very aggressive, accusatory, non-loving form. And Eric, when you came to me, when you needed my help, when you came to me and told me things that were going on in your life, I always came to you with love. I always came to you with kindness. I always came to you when people would say to you, when would call you a monster and say horrible things to you, I would say, no, Eric, let's look at these things. Let's look. You're like, yeah, but I get angry, and maybe I am a monster, maybe I am an ogre. And I'm like, no, no, let's look at these things from a place of love. Let's look and see, like, maybe you have a part inside that's just fed up. Maybe you have a part inside that's overloaded. We have to look at the positive and understand what's really going on inside of you. You never extended me that same kind of love. You came at me like you were like some kind of karate sergeant trying to interrogate me and not come from a place of love. So no, I wasn't 100% like, let me share with you all the things that I've been through. But not only that, I've had situations where I've been in sessions where I've had people rape me. I've had situations where people have taken advantage of me. That's why if you look at my contract, when people sign sessions with me, it says you're not allowed to touch the shaman. I've been accosted by celebrities. I've been accosted by athletes, and I've been accosted by different types of people, both men and women. So, I mean, if people are going to come out of the woodworks, I mean, I had a friend just recently who was like telling me that something happened to us. We weren't even in a session. And now him and I are talking, and he's like, well, the truth is, the matter was, I was just feeling that, you kicked me out of your life and you didn't want anything to do with me. And why? Because I didn't call you for 2 weeks, and now we're friends again. So it's like, again, I don't know what people do, why they say and do what they do. Did I cross some lines in my life? Sure, I did. But am I evil because of it? No. And is the witch inside of me evil? No, she's not evil. Evil is, that's not what it's about. But again, you have to get to a place of more love and compassion in the way that you speak to people, to ask them things, because it's not coming from love. If I'm a love being, Eric, okay, and I would have no problem opening myself. I opened myself to you the most vulnerable way. I was vulnerable the same way I was with Marta, with you, when we would lay in bed and I would tell you things about my fears and things. Nobody knows those things about me. Hey, Eric. I just want to thank you for um, bringing these things to my attention and protecting me and looking out for me. And I appreciate you. And I am willing to look at it and confront it. And yeah, I love you. Always will love you. Um, and appreciate your friendship. So I just want you to know that. You're right. All the stuff that I'm talking about, as far as like lawyer and dumb, stupid stuff like that, what really just needs to happen is just for me to like just listen and absorb and take in. And but I think, yeah, I just think it's the approach. It's the approach when you come at me. It's very accusatory, and that's the reason why I shut it, because it triggers me. It triggers a part of my childhood of when my stepmom would accuse me of things instead of here, like ask me from a place of love or show real nurturing to me in the process of my growth. And my dad used to do the same. Like there was never like a nurturing aspect of my growth. It was more like a intense kind of like, coming at me with that kind of energy. So I think that's why I've been a bit defensive in ways that I shouldn't have, but I have been. And I really appreciate all of this happening. I call it the coyote moment. And coyote is the trickster, and the trickster is the one who helps bring things a certain way so that we can heal them and look at them and confront them and grow and all of that. And there's growth in everything. And so yeah, it's I think it's a great thing that the coyote is showing up right now on all levels. Even for Marta right now, she's listening to everything, and so it's really good. And yeah, I think I think you did bring love and light into my home, and I think it was just uh, I think it was the approach that was just difficult in the way that we were receiving it. I think because again, I said we came out of that kind of family of that. So anyway, I'd love to talk to you more about it if you're open to talk about it. And yeah, that is what it is. Hope you sleep well. Love you.